How you doing, folks? Dr. Jim Gishwin here, PhD, and former intelligence analyst, geopolitical type, under the CNO back under Reagan. Here's the thing, folks. I'm getting so upset at all the lies coming out of the Democratic side. Remember this projection thing. Anything they're accusing someone else of, they're doing. Okay? We are on the tip of World War III. China is, according to the U.S. Navy, China is ready to blockade Taiwan anytime it wants. And we can't do nothing about it. We've had military experts get on telling you the same thing I did. We no longer have a military-industrial complex. We don't. A lot of our parts that we get are foreign. We have no local manufacturing base to sit there and make the missiles, to make the tanks, to make the aircraft. We really don't. We can't do it like we did in previous times. He said we'd be seriously in trouble if we had to fight a two-front war. In other words, in Europe against Putin and also against the Chinese, Red Chinese, and yes, they're Red Chinese, defending the Taiwan Straits. And they're building those islands out there. They sit there and just, they've been messing with the Filipinos and the Vietnamese in the South China Sea. 80% of the water transportation goes through the South China Sea. 80% of it. That is just as important as the Malacca Straits over there by Malaysia. You have to know the globe. I teach cultural geography also, okay, as well as history, as well as civics and government and economics, and philosophy, and leadership. Here's the thing. We have no will to fight. Now, here's my suggestion to Trump and to Vance and to Elon Musk. Elon, if you're going to be in there looking for efficiencies, I was an admin and supply and personnel officer for Navy Manpower Navy Manpower Engineering Center in D.C. What we did is we went around and did efficiency studies with industrial specialists. That was put out of business because we had a couple groups that went into NAVC Syscom, Naval Air Systems Command, and Naval Surface Command, okay, over there, telling them to get rid, efficiency-wise, to get rid of some SESs, Senior Executive Services. A lot of people don't know a lot about the Senior Executive Service. They rank the same as admirals, okay, and they get paid the same. You can sit there and save a lot of money, you get rid of a lot of SESs. They're just above GS-18, okay. Here's the thing. If you're going to go in, get rid of all the Senior Executive Service, period. All right? And that will solve most of your problems with the DEI stuff and DEI stuff and all this woke stuff that's going on. And all this support for Red China and all the support for Hamas. You sit there and wipe out the Senior Executive Service in most of these agencies, like the FBI and whatnot. You got it covered. Okay, that's your big first step, and you'd save the government one heck of a lot of money. I mean, there's thousands of them. Well, when I was in under Reagan, we didn't have that many of them. They were pretty rare. And so that's when Naval Air Syscom and NAVC Syscom were recommended to get rid of their SASs, Senior Executive Services, for efficiency. They decided, well, we can do this stuff on our own, and suddenly the Navy engineering commands were put out of business because we recommended too much. So be careful, Elon. Anyway, folks, we can only pray, and it's down to the vote. Okay, I sat there, and I'm getting ready to work the polling stations again as a deputy. My supervisor of elections is coming to the class tomorrow, setting up a couple voting machines to sit there and let them all practice to vote. All right. Anyway, it should be fun tomorrow. It's the end of the quarter, so I'm getting all these whiny things coming up saying, oh, well, why do I have an F or why do I have a D? I said, because you didn't turn in assignments. Or you turned in your name on a blank test. Bozos. Those were the jocks that did that. They thought they were going to get away with it. No, they didn't. So, with that, I'm going to leave you with, please, let's pray and vote. Pray and vote. We watched a thing today on YouTube about the possibilities of a civil war and the possibilities of states seceding from the Union. I don't condone that, but I was amazed in the history in learning how many separate incidents we had, like under Aaron Burr trying to sit there and get the northeastern states, New York especially, out of the Union. And, of course, the Mormons with their deserteria, or Westeria. I forget, they were going to call it that kind of state, or independent state. Now, of course, Texas got the biggest claim. They were 6 years as an independent republic because Polk didn't want to sit there and admit them into the Union. So, and of course, you got the California, you got the Sierra Nevadas, all of the Sierra Nevadas up there, the Sierra Nevada mountains out there on the West Coast. They've all had different things, and Alaska's had a thing about seceding from the Union. And they say in Hawaii that it was inappropriate because they didn't give them a chance to sit there and vote as a Commonwealth versus state or independent. They didn't give them that choice. So they figured that vote was invalid. And they want their ancient queen restored. Or kingdom, Kamehameha's kingdom. And it was his granddaughter, I guess, that we overthrew. The plantation owners. Dole. Dole was the first leader of Hawaii, independent Hawaii, before it was admitted into statehood. And, of course, that's where our pineapples come from. Dole pineapple. Go figure. Anyway, the history of cessation or possible civil wars, basically, in the United States was amazing. I couldn't believe it. There was about 10 different incidents. And history's amazing. You get into it. I just pray that that doesn't happen this time. But, of course, a lot of people sit there and say that we haven't been this divided and this acrimonious to each other on both sides since 1859. Since 1859. So anyway, I will let you go. Please, love, prayers, hope, and please ask God to continue blessing this great nation of ours. I love you. I remain your humble servant. Take care.